Okie dokie. Let's do this. Alright, so. Hello, hello, friends. Welcome in. Welcome in. How are y'all doing today? So, today we will be playing an indie game I saw in Steam yesterday. It is called. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It paints me. He paints me. Where is it? Where is it? It paints me, yes. It is a like an indie visual novel, set the story like mood. The art style looks great. I've never run into an issue where the art style looks bad in these types of games, and this dev put their whole foot into it. Um, but also camera focus, focus. It'll be a good test run, and then we'll probably shift over to Rika to get our house built and get it started.
Welcome in Death Mask 97.
Hello, welcome in. Get that started. And then we will try Chucksy. I really want Chucksy to work. I really, really, really want it to work. It looks so fun. I had a lot of fun with the 8 minutes I got to play of it. But let's get into it. Let's start it. There is also a digital art book uh, on this indie game. That looks really good. If I could get it to work. Game capture? Game? Let's see. Well, we'll screen capture it. It's fine. I believe in you. I don't know if it's a me thing or if it's a what. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. Let's turn down the music just a hair. Sound volume perfect. Voice volume. All right. Skip unseen text after choices transitions. Perfect. And let's full screen it. Perfect. I believe you'll make it work. I wish I could will it to work. All right. Let's start it. Hello? Every night, I find myself alone in the studio. Curtains drawn tight, my neat row of paints, palettes, and brushes in the same place on the drawer by the easel. Let me move my candy. Okay? The canvas upon it sits, as always, unfinished. Marie's half-painted face, frozen in silent song. Oh, that's pretty. It's laid out, as it always is when I awaken here. Marie is nowhere to be found. She must still be at the theater. Even when the curtains fall and the stage lights dim, the night is forever young to its star sopranos. I would always wait outside her dressing room, roses in hand, scores of other bright-eyed admirers spilling through the halls, though she alone was mine, and I was hers. Aw. So pretty. I like the sketchy look of this art. It looks really good. It's cold, bitterly cold tonight, but I still draw the curtains and open the windows wide. There's a stench in the room, deep and damp and sickly sweet, that I can't ever seem to be rid of. Besides that, the fumes from the linseed oil makes my head spin. Like every night, I measure out my paints, arranging the small dabs of color on my palette, from lightest to darkest. Titanium white and comedium yellow to corpse brown and lamp black. I wet my brush with oil and gently start mixing the pigments. Words. It feels just a little bit like magic, watching them swirl and mix, forming new colors from old. Oh, well, let's see. In painting aspect, you want to do the broad ones first so you can cover up and then do the small details. Right here. I blend a dark, deep red on my palette as I envision her hair in my mind's eye. Marie rarely ever bound her locks in fashionable plots or ringlets, not even on our wedding day. I remember how her glossy black waves almost shimmered beneath her veil. Didn't you just say red? The color of my palette is as dull as mud. I sigh and blend it into the background instead. What? I apply my paint with a generous dab of oil, but it seems I didn't have to. The canvas is still wet from the last night and the night before. I must have painted and repainted the same background countless times. To say it's difficult to paint by lamplight. My muse nowhere in sight is an understatement, of course. But lately, these nightly hours are the only time I find myself able to lift my brush. Ah, yes, an artist. To be the muse of an artist means sleepless nights. I stop every few strokes.
Spirits, it hurts.
Spirits, it hurts. I had joked that the pain that forced me away from the tailor's shop meant I could finally return to my paintings at the very least. I was never good at humor. Marie had sensed my worries, consoled me sweetly in her voice that could charm stone to life.
Oh, Sam, don't
Oh,
worry.
Sam!
I have roles lined up for months. Go ahead and paint. We can still live comfortably.
Marie, thank you, sweetie. It hurt, a small part of me it did, beyond the physical, beyond the ailments, to seek her permission. To be unable to care for my darling the way I had when we were young, brimming with talent, but crushingly unknown. Oh, this is so pretty. Well, she had been. I was and still am nothing. You're not nothing, but perhaps finally it would now be my turn to bring my vision to the world. If only it didn't hurt so damned much. Time passes and I still don't manage more than a few strokes. A small patch of dark over an already wet canvas. Or perhaps time hasn't passed at all. The broken clock on the wall would suggest as much. Perhaps the seconds have lain still, the world outside unchanging, and I, the only thing that moves. Have I moved? Is repeating the same brushstrokes like a clockwork doll movement? I shiver and sigh. Perhaps sleep would be a better endeavor. Perhaps the next night will meet more success. You got this. I stand setting aside my paints and palettes and slowly move to shut the windows. I stop. There, out in the front garden, barely lit by a street lamp, stands a figure that can only be Marie. My love! She bids goodbye to another figure, tall and broad-shouldered. Then she laughs, a beautiful laugh, a heartfelt laugh, and embraces him before he makes his reluctant exit on a carriage stop by the gate. Marie, no! How could you? For a moment, I don't know what to think. A friend? A co-star? Perhaps that amiable tenor she mentioned every now and then? I didn't see his face, but Marie's social circle had always eclipsed my own. Social butterflies. It must be, but why would he come to our home? Is this guy dead? I feel like this guy might be dead. Why would she laugh that way? Oh no. Jealous lover's rage. In the garden, in the midst of walking to the front door, humming to herself, Marie suddenly looks up. For a moment, her eyes go wide, and she blinks as if shaking herself from a daze. I instinctively step back from the windows. Perhaps it's guilt that makes me do so. Marie is finally home, and oh, I've missed her so. How could the first thing I think upon seeing my darling be the worst thoughts my mind could conjure? For the first time in many, many nights, I feel just well enough to leave the studio. I'll prepare Marie a pot of her favorite chamomile tea. I'll listen as she tells me of the nights at the theater, the 1,000 small antidotes she never runs out of, and maybe, just maybe, ask her again to sit for a portrait for me. Like she used to. The house feels larger than it used to. Perhaps I was shut in the studio too long still? How could I so quickly become a stranger to my own home? Oh no, is he a stalker? Oh no, he's either dead or a stalker. The memories are fuzzy. The years blur together like a wash of oil colors. My mother and I, carrying our sparse luggage, stepping inside for the first time. My stepfather laughing, his elbows on the breakfast table, chattering over something he'd read in the paper. Then, silent hallways and empty rooms. And then, myself, welcoming my new bride to these solitary halls, hanging our newly taken portraits above the mantel. The walls are barren now. feel the walls in the dark, leaving sticky trails of paint behind, tracing the places where I used to hang. The paintings I'd framed, the seaside landscapes I'd painted on our honeymoon, the watercolor sketch of Marie that I couldn't hope to capture the sheen of her hair. The still life of candles and flowers that had wilted because I took so long to finish. But this looks nice. Even the painting of roses in a vase, the first gift I had ever given her.
I wanted to bring you some flowers, but I was afraid they would wilt before I saw you next.
You painted them. Oh, they're beautiful, Sam.
I think he might be dead. I think. It is really cute, though. The naked walls stare blankly at me. Confused, but with nowhere else to go, I continue through the house. As I walk, I pass the furniture my stepfather left me. The shelves and tables that always seemed so large and grand as a boy, now missing or mantled in thick white linen. They reminded me of corpses on a hospital table, lying dead still, covered in sheets. I think so. Marie? I try to call out, but phlegm blocks my throat. I cough, long and drawn and wet, and then once more attempt to voice her name. Marie? It slicks off my tongue like a serpent uncoiling. Man, the descriptive words, though. Mwah. I'd always loved her name, so tender and sweet, free of harsh syllables. Marie. It was a name like an impressionist floor, painted in soft strokes with a fine oil brush. It was the greatest joy in the world to join my name to hers. Sam and Marie? That's a cute couple name. Silence fills the halls, a long, drawn-out silence, a held breath. Finally, my darling answers.
Sam.
Yeah, it's me.
Is this a dream?
Oh no. I cough again, another long, wet trail dripping from my lips. Did I die from paint fumes? That would be ironic and sad.
Is it a good dream, darling?
Oh, cute.
I don't know. It feels like a nightmare.
Oh no, she's not taking it well.
An awful, wretched nightmare.
Oh wow. Imagine being like, I love this person so much. I'm so excited to see them. And they're like, nightmare. I limp towards the sound of her voice. So musical, so lovely, even at the brink of tears. Don't cry, darling, I want to say, but thick, syrupy liquid fills my throat. No matter what troubles you, I am here. She stands at the edge of the staircase, shaking, a candlestick in hand. The steps are sticky and wet. I inch carefully, practically at a crawl, not to slip. Ah! Wait, come back. Wait, come back. Okay, there. My darling lifts the candle as I approach. In the dark of the house, its flickering flame almost blinds me. I don't see the expression on her face as she screams.
Marie? Where are you, my darling?
Every word feels like a dagger puncturing my throat. Oh no. I limp down each hall, leaving a trail of steps that feel damp and heavy, slick and wet. I try the door to our bedroom. No, Marie's room. I had started sleeping in the spare one when my coughing fits would wake her in the night. It was so cold alone, but my darling needed her rest. The knob is slick and hard to twist, my hands slipping on the brass. Finally, I managed to push the door open. Though it's completely dark when I peer inside, I know it's empty. No warmth, no flesh, no sound of sweet breath within. Okay, now I'm a little nervous for Marie. I continue down the hall. I trudge, my steps heavy and wet, trying not to slip over the thick, slick surface. They're really emphasizing this
Marie,
thick,
what's wrong,
slick,
darling?
wet feeling. His words are twisting a bit. Yeah, right? Marie, what's wrong, darling?
Please, come out. I don't understand.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? You don't understand? The dining room is empty, truly empty. The shelves where the china and silverware were once neatly stacked now gape, hollow. The walnut... That's what it sounds like. The walnut table is covered in a thick white sheet. The matching set of chairs removed. I rest against the blanketed table. My hand leaves a ruddy smear against the sheet. It must be more paint, though it's hard to make out in the dark. Ruddy? Like blood? I needed spectacles for quite some time, but Marie had never liked the bookish type. Bookish type? The bookish type is so cute, though. I continue on through the familiar yet unfamiliar house. My steps strained and slow. My breath short, sticky, wet.
Marie, where are you?
Come on, Sam, pull it together.
Oh, Marie, it hurts. Won't you come to me?
I hear the front door slam shut. It must be freezing cold out. Why has she gone to the garden? I tread to the sound with new urgency, uncaring of the sticky wet floors, forgetting for just a moment the pain that snaps and burns through my flesh. I reach for the oily, damp knob.
Don't! Sam! Please!
Her voice rings from behind the door. Can she see him or can
I
she
don't
not
understand,
see him?
darling. Have I done something to upset you?
Yes. Her sobs echo loudly. I never thought an ugly sound would come from my darling's lips, but her words.
I love you, Sam. I always will. But I can't bear to see you like this. Please, I beg of you, return to where you came. You can't be here. I've moved on now.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, I gotta turn it down just a little bit. The game is a tad loud.
Return where? Dearest, you aren't making any sense.
I think you're not making any sense, sir.
Moved on. I'm your husband, Marie. What on earth is there to move on from?
Please remember, Sam.
Yep.
You were ill. You were ill for a long, long time. And you never recovered.
Poor Marie.
I know I'm unwell, Marie. But you said we would still... Are you
This
leaving
acting is
me?
immaculate.
Because I can't care for you anymore? Is that it?
You left me. You're dead, Sam.
Called it!
You've been dead for more than a year.
If this is a joke, darling, it's a cruel one. Do you want me dead? Is that it? Am I better off dead to you?
My man, I don't think that's what she's saying. My darling does nothing but sob behind the door. How quickly I regret my words. Oh, if only I could see her face, look into her eyes, reassure her, and see that she loves me still. I twist the knob with slick, oily hands.
No! Don't come out! Please!
Leave. On the other end, with a sharp gasp, my darling grasped the knob closed, pushing the weight of her small frame against the weathered wood.
Don't come out!
Poor Marie. We're not gonna traumatize her more. I let go of the door, my hand slicking off its oily surface.
Forgive me, Marie. I can see that you don't want to speak to me right now. But whenever you do, whatever this is about, I'll be waiting in the studio.
Imagine your house being haunted in the studio. I would sob. I leave the door. I leave my darling alone, sobbing in the garden. It's dark, so very dark, but dawn will soon paint that dim black sky. I retrace my slick, wet footsteps through the hall, up the staircase, one trudging, damp step at a time.
Spirits, it hurts.
It burns. I feel no breath in my lungs. My chest could be a hollow cavity, slippery and wet, spilling with hot, sickly fluid.
It hurts. Oh, it hurts.
I stagger into a tall, sheet-covered object, a linen sliding off with a grasp of my clumsy, slick fingers. They really like the word slick. It's Marie's floor-length mirror. Oh no, are we gonna see ourselves? Uh-oh. Well, this might be what he needs to process. You got this. Stay calm.
No.
Don't panic. Don't
Oh,
panic.
no.
No, don't panic. It's fine.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, no, no!
Don't panic. We just accept it. We process. We feel. Ugh. Okay, maybe panic a little bit. Just a little bit, actually. Now I see why Marie was screaming. I see. I'm starting to understand. Nice art style. I'm in the studio. A dark, dim studio. As empty as it is every night. The curtains are shut. The lamps are unlit. My palette is a mess of murky colors. Rust reds, corpse browns. A musky, sickly sweet, rotting stench fills the room. I don't know why the smell of linseed oil ever bothered me. A little rough, but we don't know how he died. After all, I no longer breathe. You know, it could be worse. At least he looks cool. The handle of the door turns behind me. Slowly it creaks open and a figure steps inside. Oh my gosh, his eyeballs.
5 more minutes.
It's me. He limps more than he steps in crooked motions against the floor, dragging his body along like a wet, wide brush as swaths of red pool at his feet. I watch him pull himself before the canvas. You think lead paint?
Samuel.
Icon of affliction. He speaks in my mother's voice, a tone that could swell with warmth or derision, command or dependency, pride or disappointment at a moment's notice.
Please, give up your suffering. Give up this. Come back to the earth with me.
Yeah, go rest, my guy. You are terrifying your wife. My hands are too slick to hold my brush. I stab it into my flesh and fix it between my bones, then dip the bristles into his blood. That's not helping the
Sammy.
fear. Icon of Algesia? Algesia? He speaks in my stepfather's voice, but without laughter or joy. In the same cadence, I imagine him taking his last breath, crimson staining his uniform, the dog tags cold around his neck.
Don't suffer anymore, Sam. You are nothing already.
Great voice acting. I like
Forget your pain.
return to the void with us.
Yeah, my guy, you're like stabbing your hand to paint. You're scaring your wife. You're haunting your old house. Go home. Rest. Peace. My brush is drying. I plunge it into his chest. Wet it with his oily breath.
Sam?
Icon of agony. He speaks with my voice, hoarse and raspy and tired. So very, very tired.
This won't make you worthy of love. Not the world's, not Marie's, not your friends or peers or critics. Come back to our grave. End our suffering.
Right, rest.
You know I don't do this for love.
You don't? You don't do it for love? What are you doing it for? I clean my brush with the paint thinner, knocking over the jar as it spills across the drawer and onto the wet, soaking floor. I dry the bristles on my worn, rotting shirt, then soak it in the thick, white mucus of his tears. My words are only partially true, just as his words are not fully wrong. Neither my rotting corpse nor the memory of what once was Sam will gain a thing from this toil. I paint the hours away, or perhaps take no time at all. The clock on the wall never turns its hands, suggesting that the world lies still, the seconds never pass, and I'm the only thing that moves within it. It hurts. Ah, it hurts. Heavy, syrupy tears flood my vision, fill my throat, my chest, choking me. Every moment of my hands leaves cracks in what's left of my brittle bones. Every movement. Sorry, guys. Movement of the fingies. He stares at me all the while, silent still like a mirror. If I loved him, I would stop. I would crawl to my grave like he wishes. But I love this more than I love myself. I birth him from within me as I create, so too am I born.
And he and I are beautiful.
That's true. Oh, this was him pre-sick. Wow. Ending 2, self-portrait. We did it! Music, art, story, programming, and sound design by Indicis? I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. My pronunciation is horrible, truly. But what a cool game! The voice acting was great! The music was great! The pacing was great! Great job. Cast: Sam, Colum Sanders, Marie, Sheila, Sam's mother, Maria Porcopido? How many endings are there? I don't know. This is the first time I opened it. Sam's father, Ethan Grant. Casting director, Phoebe Bobacher? I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your names. I'm so sorry. Voice mixing, Mark Mullins. Special thank you, Morgan, Mitsumi, Val, Sabi, and Sammy. Thank you for playing. Let's see. I'm guessing there's only 2 endings based on what we would have picked. So, I wonder if we start a new game and maybe pick something different. But we know how this goes. Once we make a different choice, I'll start. But right here. Let's paint her face this time. I mix a tone as warm as her cheeks as I envision Marie's sweet face in my mind's eye. Her lips like roses, the graceful turn of her nose, those eyes that glittered like stars under candlelight. You should have been a poet. It's no use. I can't focus. Her features are as blurred in my mind as the mess of oil and pigment smeared across my canvas. I sigh and scrape it off with a palette knife, and mix a deep blend of black and red for the background instead. I apply my paint with a generous dab of oil, but it seems I didn't have to. The canvas is still wet from the last night and the night before. I must have painted and repainted the same background countless times. To say it's difficult to paint by lamplight, my muse nowhere in sight, is an understatement, of course. But lately, these nightly hours are the only time I find myself able to lift my brush. I stop every few strokes.
Spirits, it hurts.
So every night he goes through this, like he forgets he's dead and waits for Marie and paints. I had joked that the pain that forced me away from the tailor's shop, and I could finally return to my paintings at the very least. I was never any good at humor. Marie had sensed my worries, consoled me sweetly in her voice that could charm stone to life.
Oh, Sam, don't worry. I have roles lined up for months. Go ahead and paint.
All right, we're gonna skip to
We
the
can
next
still
choice.
live comfortably.
This is the same. All right, so last time we did the paintings. Let's do the photographs. The walls are laid bare. The pictures that hung on the pale wallpaper are gone. Blurry gray photographs of my parents, myself as a boy, and Marie. Oh, so many pictures of Marie, each displayed in a filigree frame. Filigree? Words? Look at us! Even our wedding photograph, the two of us dressed in fine clothes I'd sewn myself, smiling like fools even while our picture was taken. For how could we wear solemn faces on such a joyous day? Pretty. It too is gone. I mean, my guy, well, you kind of died. The pale wallpaper stands bare, stripped to its bone. Confused, but with nowhere else to go, I continue through the house. Alright, we've seen this one too. We're gonna force the door open. I think that's the move.
No. Not until you tell me what's going on. Are you leaving me, darling? After everything? I need you. I need you!
Oh no, he's taking it poorly. My darling utters a sharp cry as the hinges groan against the frame, loosening her grip as she stumbles back into the cobblestone path. I instantly forget her sharp words as I limp towards her side.
Marie, are you alright? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, let's make her feel
Stop
worse.
it, Sam. I'll keep you alive. Every time I sing, I'll sing for you.
This poor woman is just harassed at this point. She cannot get a break.
I'll keep you in my song. In my art.
That's fair. I mean, that's more than could be asked of. Oh, but it hurts. Her shrill voice grates against the ooze spilling forth from my ears.
It hurts. It hurts!
Sam. Sammy! My head rings. My chest is a hollow cavity, slippery and wet, flowing with hot, sickly fluid. I cough and spew more syrupy, warm liquid from my lips.
Your art, it was always about you.
Oh no. Oh no, he's going the evil route with it. No, that's not what I wanted.
Your fame, your voice, your needs, your wants, your desires. You were a work of art, of course, but did you ever think about me?
Oh no. He's panicking.
Did you ever think about poor Sam, dying alone in a cold, white room? Poor Sam, who couldn't even hold a brush in his hands at the end.
Oh no.
Poor Sam, left to rot into nothing. A year was all it took for you to forget me.
He knows he's been gone. For a year? Sam! I am shaking her, leaving smears of dark, muddy paint over her pale shoulders. The next moment, she breaks from me, running blindly into the street. The carriage doesn't stop for her. Of course it doesn't. We got her killed by a carriage. My dearest is a wisp of dark curls, a black gown billowing in the night like a shade. She should be light as a breath, soft as mist. But the song that comes is the scream of her breaking bones, her ripping flesh, the breath that leaves her lungs. Wow, we really killed her? That's crazy.
But every sound my darling makes is beautiful.
Alright, well, you're kind of the asshole here, actually. I take it back. That was kind of boned. I scoop her mass of flesh and deep crimson hair in my arms. Her blood pools around me, syrupy and dark, a color so deep no artist's pigment could hope to capture, the purest scarlet or vermilion red, a dull stain in comparison. It's kinda messed up. It is not Sam that I see staring back in the deep pool of our blood. You're a monster. How'd it go wrong so fast? My darling is a lovely creature, even broken. I gently carry her up the steps, one slick, damp, crooked step at a time, setting her mass of jutted bone, of viscera and flesh, on the velvet seat in my studio. The fabric soaks it deep, so very deep. It's dark, as it is every night. I leave the lamps unlit, the windows shut tight. How strange that the stench of linseed oil ever bothered me. After all, I no longer breathe. My darling sits still, ever so still, not a breath escaping her broken flesh. What a lovely model. Oh, what a wonderful thing.
All the more beautiful now that it surely hurts to sing.
Ugh. Icon of agony.
Oh, it is agony to hold a brush. It always does. But I can bear it.
The vibes in the club are a little uncomfy.
After all, who can truly create without pain?
I mean, fair. Pain is it'd be a muse. Huh. Finish your masterpiece. Well, ending one muse, so we got the two endings, gotcha. Interesting. Very interesting. Investigate. What's this? I step through the darkness of the house, inch by inch, choking back dust and tears that threaten to spill. It's been months since I last stepped foot here, but every floorboard, every turn of its halls are as familiar to me as when sunlight once shone through the windows. Sam always opened the windows when he worked in his studio. No matter the weather, no matter how rainy or freezing cold. That's probably why you got sick, my guy. The same window that now were open, gaping from the garden outside. Oh, is this her perspective? Is that why she looks shocked? Like the window open? Someone had been through this house. Everything of value I had taken with me months ago, of course, but though I could not bear to stay here any longer, I could bear it even less to let this place go. Sam had grown up here. This place meant so much to him, and I had so many memories housed here, deep within its walls. I didn't mean to spend less and less time within them as the years went on. I didn't mean to give Sam less and less. But I did. And then he was gone. My heels clack against the wooden floorboards as my footsteps echo in the dark. I stop at the doorway of the kitchen. That old rickety shelf gapes out empty, while the walnut table silently stands beneath a muffled sheet. On Sundays, when he wasn't off to the tailor's at the crack of dawn, we would have breakfast together. I remember how he'd sit at that very table, combing through this newspaper, carefully clipping out any new photographs of me that appeared. Aw, that's so sweet. Actually, a sound snaps me out of my memories. Muffled footsteps, not mine. Oh, now we get to see why she was so scared. A voice calling my name? My heart stops in my chest. I swear I can hear it. Him. Not the academy student in a hand-me-down green coat, full of life, nor the man who waited by my dressing room with roses, almost too shy to present them to me. And not the man in the paint-stained apron, hunched over a canvas, eyes locked in concentration. The owner of the voice cannot be that man, but it has his voice, calling out to me. My mind is playing tricks on me. It can't be. Holding my candlestick tightly, I slowly approach the staircase.
Sam?
I call, peering into the darkness above me. The outline of a figure stands, its movement slow and haggard.
Is this a dream?
Ah, so this is the first time she's seen him. The shape in the darkness coughs and coughs again in wretched pain. I choke back my own sobs in my throat.
Is it a good dream, darling?
He finally says.
I don't know. It feels like a nightmare. An awful, wretched nightmare.
To be fair, if your partner was dead for a year and then you heard the voice, and I imagine it'd be traumatic. As the figure steps into view, I blink against the flickering candlelight and finally look at him. My darling, oh my poor precious Sam. No. What's left of him. I'll embrace him! He just wants to be loved.
Sam.
He just wants to be loved. I say through my tears, climbing the staircase one shaking step at a time.
I always will.
Right. My arms meet rotten fabric and broken flesh. My lips meet... Okay, I didn't say kiss him. My lips meet bone and blood. Man, that's how you get sick. Take me with you, I try to speak, but gag.
Don't cry, darling. No matter what troubles you, I am here.
Sorry. Snoozing ads. I would not kiss him. Why would you kiss him? Hey. Singer found dead. Beloved soprano Marie Claremont's body found in former residence. Let's see. Claremont was widowed after finding her husband Samuel only 1 year prior. The pair had no children. A memorial service will be held on blank. Is there actually something there? So she's seeing it. I mean, she kissed, like, rotting flesh and she's gagging on the smell. She has to go with him. Ending 3. Melpomene? What does that mean? Melpomene? Let's Google that word. That's a new word for me. Melpomene. Let's see. A Greek muse, a butterfly, and an asteroid. Melpomene was the Greek muse of tragedy and lyre playing. She was one of the 9 muses, daughters of Zeus, and Mosny. Oh god, I'm butchering this. Often depicted wearing a tragic mask and the club of Hercules. Huh. And it's a Greek word that comes from to sing, or the one that is melodious. Jesus. Words. Cool. Alright, well, that was, it paints me. But that is all the time that I have for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me for all of the games and the stuffs. I'll have to explain to you the pool system. Okay, that would be nice. It's really easy. Okay, okay. But that is all the time that I have for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you new and old faces that hopped in the chat to chit chat with me or just lurk. I honestly cannot do this without you guys, and I appreciate your support. If you guys are new here, I'll drop the link to the Discord if you want to join us over there. We have announcements, we have giveaways, we have all kinds of stuff going. Our next long stream and giveaway probably won't be until 500 followers is our next goal that we're going to be shooting for, but I'm in no rush at all. So thank you guys for joining us again, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for the Friday shenanigans. Bye!